Hey guys, Justin here. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. As you can tell, again, this will be our weekly watch list video highlighting the 5 plays of the week that we are watching, and then a market breakdown as well. With that being said, the 5 plays this week, the first one being Google, second one being Square, third one being AFRM, fourth one being ExxonMobil, and then the fifth one being Tesla. Hope you guys all have a great green week and look forward to trading with those of you on the team tomorrow. Thank you. So, getting things started, the first thing I'm going to be doing, as I always do, is going to be breaking down the market. And the proxy I'm going to be using, as I typically do, is going to be /NQ. And really the reason why I use the /NQ is I primarily trade large cap tech stocks, and that is going to be more heavily weighted here within the NASDAQ market here versus, say, the Dow Jones or the S&P 500. So that is why I'm going to be breaking down /NQ. And really what we're going to be doing is using 2 long-term time frames to break this down today. And that's going to be through using the daily and then the weekly chart. So longer time frame chart, the better picture, the better idea of what you can get from where the market is going. So the first one I'm going to break down is going to be from the weekly chart here. And again, you can see it's Friday right now. We have been getting a lot of weakness here on the market. And the main reason being is there was a report that Russia was prepared to invade Ukraine. There's no confirmed report of this. It is a rumor, and that's why we are seeing a 3% push down here. Now that really puts a news aspect into the market over the weekend, in that the market is going to be news driven. If this is false, we could potentially see a bounce. If this is true, obviously very bad for the world economy and also the stock market as well. From a weekly time frame perspective, let's take an analysis here. You can see the strongest volume we had was on this week of 124 with a strong price action reversal. So what does this price action tell us? Well, this tells us there's a lot of buying pressure here from 13,709 all the way up here to 14,381, which happens to be a region that we are pulling into right now. However, lots of weakness here on this candle here as well. So typically what you'd want to see off of this formation is a strong bullish close for a reversal. We had sellers take control all the way from 15,250 all the way closing it down to 14,643. Clearly a seller's dominated market still currently, and that's exactly what we're getting here on the NASDAQ market. Continued lower lows here. We will have to see if we can rely on these buyers here from these lows in 124 to hold up this. If we do break down below this 13,820 region, not looking good here. You can see we have been trading sideways here, consolidation. If we do break this gap here below 13,820 and below 13,618, looking very, very weak here on the market. We could retest down here to 12,400. Obviously a huge range, but the market has been very, very weak here, and that is a very, very strong support level to watch below. Again, lots of weakness here. Following the volume, most volume we did get was on this reversal here, but not following up with much bullish strength here. Continued lower low pattern here. You can see the reversal points, lower highs here, also pushing down and continued weakness. Daily chart, same thing. You can see we had these 2 strong days that bounced, right? Everyone was getting excited because the market bounced. But let's take a look at the volume. Look how these bounces were on such low volume. When we get selling pressure, we get high volume here. So sellers clearly in control of this market. I'm watching this 13,820 region below for a potential bounce. Still a very, very weak market here. Failing to continue through 15,138 here. I will be watching that level for upside. Till then, a very, very weak market here currently. First one is going to be what's called an after earnings fade move here. You can see Google reported exceptional earnings. EPS 30.69, pushing this way up through 30.42, and you can see how we're just fading this down here. Really what I'm watching is this 26.57 support region here. You can see we touched this back in October 4th. We touched this also here on 110. Then we broke down, retest here before gapping up on earnings. So market fading this, selling this off, as has been a common theme lately with a lot of these gap up overnight moves with earnings. They typically have been fading recently in the market. Below this 2657 region, I do think we can test down here to this 2520 region. Again, Google's so heavily weighted in the NASDAQ. With the NASDAQ weakness, you can expect to see a Google follow through if we do get that drop here on the market. But again, very, very weak here, fading move on Google. Now, it's not trading any abnormal volume here, but a nice fade setup if we can get confirmation below 2657 to eye this one to the downside in the coming week. Next one, and this is one that's forming a potential reversal here, and this is going to be Square. And the main thing that we get is, okay, we basically get this sideways distribution here into a sell-off, right? This is a clear defined sell-off here. Now we're trying to form another distribution or an accumulation phase here on Square with volume. We're almost trading 2% or 200% of the normal amount of volume here. You can see we're getting elevated volume here as Square tries to confirm this bottom at 100. Now, one thing to note is we do have earnings. What day is this earnings on? 2/24, so not this coming week, but a lot of times you will get a lot of volatility the week before, a lot of inflated premiums with that volatility. And really what I would like to see here is a continued formation here, ideally through 118.85. You can see that's where the sellers really rejected this one on Thursday, 210, and that coincides with a weak market, right? We had that strength on Square. The market sold off in the afternoon session, and that is why Square got beat to the downside. Now, 100 is a very, very strong support region below. You can see we failed to crack it here, 2.3, 2.4, and then we touched and bounced here on 2.8 before forming this reversal candle on lower volume, pushing up here. So ideally through 118.85, liking this one with potential to see 127 and then break out here up into 135. Again, a big range here, but a lot of buying pressure below supported on this at $100. If we do crack that level, we'll be eyeing this one closely to play to the downside. The third play, one that's been hit hard with earnings, one that has been hitting 52-week lows here. It reported earnings earlier. There's an earnings number leak, and you can see we had some strength. We bounced all the way from 51 up to 80 in anticipation of a very strong quarter. This is a very high growth stock. And what happened? The earnings weren't as good as people thought. They weren't as good as what was priced in. And we get basically a drop from 80 to 45 in a day and a half. So weakness here on AFRM, liking this 52-week drop low. We did break 50. Ideally, there's two setups on this. Continued lower lows to play puts on this, or a bounce retest of 50 for a rejection, and then continued lows here. So being at a 52-week low, you do have to resort to intraday levels here on this one to see where those bounce levels will be. Likely whole dollar regions such as 45, 40, 47, whatever it might be. But going to be watching this one, sub 50, liking this one to the downside here. Really, again, two potential setups, continued lower lows or a bounce retest of 50 rejection. If it does break through that $50 region, could see a nice bounce here on this one in the coming week. Fourth one, news play. This one correlates with the Russia-Ukraine news. We had a huge spike today on crude oil futures from this news, spiking almost 5% on the news. And of course, you can expect to see the oil stocks gain with that. So ExxonMobil, prime example here of a news-driven play, especially with crude oil future pump. And what we see here is, okay, we identify this clear uptrend here. Now, it's not trading the 2x volume I would like to see, but crude oil being very, very strong. So we get this push down here, lower selling pressure that we did get on Thursday before bouncing and claiming this 78.41 region. Liking this 78.41 buyers region, trying to form a cup move here up into 83. That's really what I'm eyeing here. If we do get this cup move, likely to fill this 83 region and then break out and push up into 85. But again, news driven here, depending on what the Russia-Ukraine escalation happens over the weekend, that's going to drive crude oil prices. So if we continue to get strength in Ford/CL, which is crude oil futures, continued strength here in ExxonMobil has been the leading sector, very, very strong here. Again, 78.41, a very strong bid region below on this one. Last one, Tesla. Trying to form this inverse head and shoulders here, breaking down, strongest support below at 800. If we do crack this 800, likely to see a waterfall of selling here. Again, this is one that's heavily weighted in the NASDAQ. As we continue to get weakness in the NASDAQ, you obviously expect Tesla to follow through with that. Lots of sellers here on this. Again, not trading any high, abnormal amount of volume, but you can see from this Think script right here, hardly any buyers on this one today. Again, waiting on confirmation. I ideally like to see 2x normal volume on the daily chart too. I find the best setups, but simply not what we got here on Tesla. Low volume Friday day, but a very, very weak setup here. So you can see this consolidation here, which typically either leads to a breakout or a breakdown, and we're getting the latter option here. Breakdown, sellers taking this level. Low volume consolidation period here. You can see the lower volume during this consolidation. Then we get some sellers here on this one. Again, that 800 support, very, very strong level below. That's a key level to watch here. If we do crack below this, what level is this? 860 region here, 859.47. We'll be eyeing Tesla to the downside here to scalp this one. This one does move very, very quick, weighted in the NASDAQ. We'll be watching this one below that level with an overall macro support region here at that 800 region. That being said, that wraps up this video. If you did find this video helpful, if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. If you are interested in getting our private course alerts and more, feel free to check out simplified-investing.com today. We would love to have you guys on board. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope you guys all have a great week. Thank you.